Welcome back. We're talking CASA volunteers today, court-appointed special advocate. They're in the courtroom advocating for children's best interest, and recently reports have shown a lot of the times they do make a big difference, not just in the courtroom, but also after the facts as well. This afternoon we have Haley with Ohio CASA and Julie, who's been a volunteer for years, to talk about the program. First of all, Haley, give me an overview of the program. CASA, where does it fit in the whole legal system? From talking to some people, it sounds like, you know, the mother and father in these cases have their own lawyers, their own representation. But, like, who is going to represent the kids?
Exactly, and that's where the CASA volunteer comes in. So this is a community member, community members of all walks of life. They get some training, and then the big goal is to advocate for the child. And it's really about making sure that a judge in these cases, and these are kids experiencing abuse and neglect, many are in foster care, making sure that judge has all the information needed to make the best possible decision.
Now, Julie, you've been a volunteer now doing this with CASA.
Yes.
What's the training like? What made you pull the trigger on wanting to do this?
I had some family members that were involved in the juvenile court system and advocated for me becoming a CASA. My career was a pediatric and neonatal nurse, and I just felt like I wanted to take my involvement and advocacy for kids to a higher level. The training for Lucas County CASA involved 40 hours of in-person. Of course, it was pre-COVID, pre-Zoom, so they structure the training so that you can still work your full-time job. It would be Tuesday evenings downtown, it would be Saturdays, about 40 hours of in-person training, a big manual, and lots of reading.
And then you'd be you'd go to court sometime with the child you're assigned to. How many children are you assigned to pretty much typically?
When a child comes into care with Lucas County Children's Services, there may be multiple children in that family. As the case comes into court and the juvenile court decides that Lucas County Children's Services needs to open a case, we would be assigned, that family would be assigned a CASA, and we represent the best interests of all the children in the family. Could be one child, it could be 5 children, it just depends on how many children in the cases go with the mom. So you could have a mom and all of her children. There may be different fathers depending on the family situation. We do an investigation. We meet with the children. We meet with mom. We meet with dad. I met school principals, school nurses. We go out into the community because what we need to do is get a full picture of the family structure, what's at stake, and then we write a report and we represent the child at every court hearing.
Well, you know, you kind of guess that there's a lot wrong with child welfare, but it's nice to hear that something's actually working. What is it that makes this program so effective? Because you have somebody that's helping the child who's not in the system at all, they're just strictly a volunteer, and they have one agenda, and that's the protection of the child?
Sure, and I think that's what can make it so powerful. We see that these are all kinds of people from across Lucas County, and there are CASA programs across the state. So I think it's having people of different backgrounds who are really doing this because they want to help children. And we do see in Lucas County and across Ohio, there's a drastic need for more volunteers. The Lucas County CASA team tells me in recent years, we're seeing an increase in the number of abused and neglected children that are served by Lucas County Juvenile Court. So there's a need, and a lot of people do meet it.
So to get more volunteers, if someone's watching this, I want to be involved, what should they do?
Sure. So we have a lot of different ways. Of course, we encourage you to go to the Lucas County CASA website, also on ohiocasa.org, and you see some of that on the screen. But no matter where you live, there are CASA programs across Northwest Ohio, some in Southern Michigan as well, and you can find the program where you live.
Julie, and what's the joy of this? You're making you feel really good inside because you're making a difference in a child's life?
Yes, yeah, in the child's life, and so many of the families that I've worked with are struggling. Mental health disorders, a history of domestic violence, a substance abuse disorder. People are just struggling, and if parents can't get through a day and meet their own needs, it's very difficult to parent. Parenting is hard. Getting your child for routine immunizations and well checks is difficult, but then you throw in a child with a significant serious chronic illness, it even makes parenting more difficult.
And Haley, then also you add the mix, we had COVID. We had
Sure.
2.5, 3 years of like everything shutting down, and mental health for everyone
Sure.
just went spiraling down.
Sure. Sure, and that's a big thing. I know that we see that in programs across the state, people reporting, children struggling with mental health, families struggling, so this can make a big impact. I know, for example, the Lucas County CASA team tells me, sadly, they are seeing an increase in parents dying of drug overdoses. And so there's so many kids that need that advocate, that stable adult in their life, and we do think it can make a difference.
Julie, Haley, thanks for what you guys do.
Thank you.